everybody. So we're at chapter 34 of Children of Blood and Bone, and we're in Amari's perspective, and we've just gotten the Sunstone. It takes hours for the celebrations to die down, though I don't understand how anyone can feel like celebrating. Such a tremendous waste of life, one stolen by my own hand. Tzain tries to guard us from the masses, but even he can't overpower the force of the spectators as we pour out of the arena. They parade us through the streets of Abeji, creating titles to commemorate the occasion. Zeli becomes the immortal, while Tzain reigns as the commander. When I pass, the spectators shout the most ridiculous name of all. I cringe as it rings once more. The Lionaire. I want to yell of their mistake, replace Lionaire with a more fitting title like coward or imposter. There's no ferocity behind my eyes, no vicious beast hidden inside. The name is nothing more than a lie. But fueled by liquor, not one of the spectators cares. They just need something to shout, something to praise. When we near our rented ahiri, Tzain finally breaks us free. With his guidance, we make it into our clay hut and take turns out back washing the blood away. As the cold water runs over me, I scrub as hard as I can, desperate to wipe every remnant of that hell from my flesh. When the water turns red, I think of the captain I killed. Skies. There was so much blood. It seeped through the navy caftan, pasted to his skin, leaked through my leather soles, stained the hem of my pants. In his last moments, the captain reached for his pocket with a shaking hand. I don't know what he wanted to grab. Before he could retrieve it, his hand fell limp. I close my eyes and dig my nails into my palms, letting out a deep, shuddering breath. I don't know what disturbs me more, that I killed him or that I could do it again. Strike, Amari. A thin whisper of father's voice plays in my ears. I wipe him from my mind as I wash the last of the arena blood from my skin. Back in the ahiri, the sunstone glows inside Zeli's pack, lighting the scroll and the bone dagger in reds and sunflower yellows. A day ago, I hardly believed we held 2 of the sacred artifacts, yet here are all 3 sit. With 12 days left until the centennial solstice, we can make it to the sacred island with time to spare. Zeli can perform the ritual. Magic will actually return. I smile to myself, picturing the glittering lights that escaped Binta's hand, not cut short by father's blade, but everlasting, a beauty I could witness every day. If we succeed, Binta's death will mean something. One way or another, Binta's light will spread throughout Orisha. The hole she left in my heart might one day heal. Can't believe it? Tzain whispers from the doorframe. Something like that. I give him a small smile. I'm just grateful it's all over. I heard they're out of business. Without the coin from the pot, they can't afford to bribe the stalkers for more laborers. Thank the skies. I think of all the young diviners who perished. Although Zeli helped their spirits pass, their deaths still weigh on my shoulders. Bako told me he and the other laborers will use the gold to cover more diviners' debts. If they're lucky, they'll be able to save hundreds of people from the stocks. Tzain nods, looking at Zeli as she sleeps in the corner of the hut. Freshly bathed, she's almost hidden against Nayla's soft fur, recovering after her blinding display with the sunstone. Watching her, I don't feel the prickle of discomfort that usually surfaces in her presence. When the crew told her that I was the one who ended the fight, she gave me a look that almost resembled a smile. Do you think your father knew about this? I snap my head up. Tzain averts his gaze and his face hardens. I don't know, I say quietly. But if he knew, I'm not sure he would bother to stop it. An uncomfortable silence falls between us, stealing our brief moment of relief. Tzain reaches for a roll of bandages but winces. The pain in his arm must be too great. Allow me. I step forward, avoiding the reddening bandages around his bicep, his only battle wound, sustained because I got in his way. Thanks, Tzain mutters when I hand him the roll. My stomach tightens with the guilt that eats away at my core. Don't thank me. If I'd stayed off that boat, you wouldn't have this wound at all. I also wouldn't have Zell. He meets my eyes with an expression so kind it catches me off guard. I thought for sure he'd resent me, but if anything, he's grateful. Amari, I've been thinking. He picks at the roll of bandages, unraveling it only to wrap it up again. When we pass through Gombe, you should go up to the guard post. Tell them you've been kidnapped. Blame everything on us. Because of what happened on the boat? I try to keep my tone even, but a slight shrillness breaks in. Where's this coming from? Just a moment ago, he was thanking me for being here. No. Tizane closes the space between us, placing a tentative hand on my shoulder. For someone so large, there's a surprising tenderness to his touch. You were amazing. I don't want to think about what would have happened if you weren't there. But the look on your face afterward. If you stay, I can't promise you won't have to kill again. I stare at the ground, counting the cracks in the clay. He's offering me another escape. He's trying to keep the blood off my hands. I think back to that moment on the boat, back when I regretted everything and wished I'd never stolen the scroll. This is the out I prayed for. I craved it with all my heart. It could work. Though a flash of shame hits me, I imagine what would happen if I turned myself in. With the right story, enough tears, the perfect lies, I could convince them all. If I showed up disheveled enough, Father might believe I'd been kidnapped by the evil magi. Yet even as I play with the possibility, I already know my response. I'm staying. I swallow the part of me that wants to give in, tucking it deep down inside. I can do this. I proved that tonight. Just because you can fight doesn't mean you're meant to say. Do not tell me what I'm meant to do. His words stab like a needle, locking me back inside the palace walls. Amari, sit up straight. Don't eat that. That's more than enough dessert for you. No. No more. I've lived that life before and lost my dearest friend. Because of it, now that I've escaped, I shall never return. With my escape, I must do more. I am a princess, not a prop. Do not treat me any differently. My father is responsible for this pain. I will be the one to fix it. Tizane jerks back and raises his hands in surrender. All right. I tilt my head. That's it? Amari, I want you here. I just needed to know it was your choice. When you took that scroll, there's no way you could know everything would turn out like this. Oh. I fight back a smile. I want you here. His words make my ears burn. Tizane actually wants me to stay? Well, thank you, I say quietly, sitting back. I want to be here too, despite how loudly you snore. Tizane smiles, and it softens up every hard line on his face. You're not so quiet yourself, princess. The way you snore, I should have called you the lioness this whole time. Ha! I narrow my eyes and grab our canteens, praying my face isn't flushed. I'll remember that the next time you need help grabbing a roll of bandages. Tizane grins as I leave the hut, a lopsided smile that lifts my very steps. The brisk night air greets me like an old friend, thick with the scent of ogoro and a palm wine from the celebration. A hooded woman spots me and breaks out into a wide smile. The lioness! Her call incites the cheers of those around her. It makes my cheeks flush, but this time the name doesn't sound so wrong. With a shy wave, I skirt the crowd, fading into the shadows. Perhaps I made a mistake. Maybe a lioness lives in me after all. Okay, so we just finished chapter 34. Let's take a moment and really pay attention to how are we continuing to develop Amari's relationship and connection with Enan, how is she developing as a character, and why is the lioness this symbol of her now? Why is this a representation of what she is and who she's becoming throughout all of this? So once you're done with your notes and your summary of the chapter, then continue on to chapter 35.